What's going on, world? It's your boy Young Deuces representing the Geekset podcast, the only podcast that blend hip-hop culture and geek culture together in one place. And today I want to talk to you about marketing with the offline mindset online.
They love my hustle, man, they love my grind. They love my hustle, man, they love my grind. They love my hustle, man, they love my grind. I'm spitting scriptures coming from my mind. They love my hustle, man, they love my grind.
Because the nature of our podcast, the Geekset podcast, we are into a lot of fandoms, whether it's comic books, video games, anime, movies, we're there. And those fandoms leads us to a whole bunch of conventions and expos that we generally attend. That's where we do most of our networking and our marketing. And you have a small window where you have to leave an impression on people at that moment in person. But when the world slowed down, we had to figure out how we're going to do this on an online setting. So this is exactly how we end up doing that. One of the biggest questions that I get from a lot of my peers and just other people that are into podcasting, when they see our content, they want to know, how do we get so many guests? And I think that the biggest thing that I can tell people is it's okay to let somebody know that you want something. Because see, a lot of the time when I'm networking, I'm just reaching out to people and seeing their availability, seeing if they'll be interested into coming on our platform and talking with me. And when I talk to some of my peers, they say, well, I didn't want to bother that person, or I don't want them to think that I'm just trying to get something from them. And to me, that's crazy, because that's what business is. As far as business goes, I want something from you, and I want you to bring your fandom to my place. So it's a give and take on both sides, where it benefits being on my platform and me talking to them. So I think that when people can get out of their heads and start thinking in that mindset that it's okay to let somebody know I want something from you. It's okay for me to let you know my intentions out the gate, that I want to work with you. I want to bring you onto my platform. I want your fan base to come over here. I want to introduce them to what we're doing. I think that once you get to that point, it'll help you understand that you can still get these big name guests without feeling like you're inconveniencing them. Because truthfully, your platform is still important, no matter how big or how small it is. So once you get out of your head at that point, the next part is mastering your pitch. Who are you? And I think that for us, we had to figure out, like, we are this place where we blend hip-hop culture and geek culture together. And I started thinking about the people that I talk to and the people that we are interviewing and we're bringing on our platform. And one of the big philosophies that we took on is that when people are on their promo run, celebrities, comedians, actors, whatever the case, or whatever field that they're in, they're promoting what they're currently doing. So everything that they go to is going to be focusing on that. But where I wanted to kind of dive deep into is, what do you geek out about? Like, what are your fandoms? What are the things that interest you that are something geeky that nobody would even think of? And that's where I get some of the best conversations, because I'm talking to somebody like a Van Lathan or a Roy Wood Jr. and you're expecting them to talk about the most recent movie they directed or their comedy special, but we're focusing on video games. We're focusing on anime. We're focusing on comic books. So I had to master my pitch on how to get people interested in that. And that is part of that pitch. When I reach out to them, I let them know, hey, this is what we do, and this is what I would like to talk to you about. Because you got to think, when you're pitching to somebody, you got to sell why they would want to be on your platform. And that's where you have to master your pitch. In the online setting, that is more important than ever, because so many people get so much spam emails. They get so many pointless emails to their point of contact. So you have to get to the point, but not sound like you're rushing it. So that's where you have to make sure that you master your pitch. Let them know who you are. Give them points of reference. Give them the links. Give them all the information they need to make a conscious decision if they want to work with you or not. And then the next point after that, you want to focus on making sure that you find the right department. Where most people shoot themselves in the foot is that they reach directly out to the talent. And though I get it, you're thinking, oh, I want to interview this person. I want to work with this person. Let me reach out to this person specifically. But once you get to a certain level just in business, you start creating different departments where you may lack. Because there's people out here who suck at time management. I'm one of those people. I'm not really good at time management, but I have people around me who is really good at holding accountability and and having that time management. So a lot of the research that I do when I'm trying to reach out to somebody is trying to figure out, who do I need to speak with? Who do I need to speak to in order to get the right type of response? So that's whether it's reaching out to somebody's manager, whether it's reaching out to their publicist, their booking info, just finding the right department. Because if you find a direct contact and you reach out to them via DM or something of that nature, you're just going to fall into the same line of people that are sending them the pointless stuff. So you want it to be taken seriously, and you want to kind of really get some type of progress. That's when you just figure out who was that point of contact, who was that reference, and doing that. What's great about it is there's a slew of online resources that you can use. I'm not going to co-sign any website, but if you just Google search just different type of websites and things like that, you can find point of contacts for specific people that you want to reach out to and get them and get the direct contact for that. So now you found the right person that you need to speak to, which is great. But now you have to also practice patience. And I know it sounds mundane. It sounds like something that you probably already heard from multiple sources. But patience is the key, because your time is very important. You value your time. Well, you got to understand people value their time as well. And so a no now is not always just a no. A lot of times it's just a not right now. That's been my philosophy for everything. Most of the interviews I've gotten, it's not been, all right, we're doing it just like that. Most of the interviews that I have gotten, it's been, okay, hey, we can't do it right now. Reach out later, right? So patience is key. Also in this internet world, because we're online, we're so used to that quick back and forth. Oh, I can @ somebody on Twitter and they can respond just like that because it's connected to their phone. Or I can @ somebody in Instagram, do a video, and I should be able to get an immediate response. But again, you still got to make sure that you understand that their time is their time. There's certain people who don't answer emails outside of business hours. That's the way that they keep themselves sane, instead of just, doing this 24/7, because we are connected to the world 24/7 through social media. That's the case. So we need to make sure that you practice patience. If you send an email, give it some time. And if somebody says no, don't take it as just a no, they don't want to work with you. Take it as okay, well, maybe now is not the best time. And then it'll lead actually to what my next one is follow up and follow through. Because a lot of the times they'll tell you, hey, we can't do it right now. Reach out to me in this point in time, and then we can look into it. And that's where that follow up and follow through goes. Because if you forget that moment, if you get that time, you may miss your window of opportunity. And follow up and follow through is so important, because that's where you're going to get a lot of opportunities to either do business with somebody or anything. When you are marketing, or when you are networking, a lot of the times you're meeting somebody face to face. And you're telling them who you are, you're telling them what you do, and then they're going to set up a meeting later. So why having that online, why are you missing out that opportunity to do so? If you meet somebody, if you @ somebody online, let's say you do get engagement with them online, you can't expect business to happen immediately at that moment. So a lot of the times it's going to be, reach out to me later, around this time. I'm doing this at this moment, I can't do it right now, but I would love to do it, right? So it's like just making sure you have that proper follow up and follow through, so that way you can reach out to them at the time frame that they expected or the time frame that they requested. So now I want to talk about marketing, right? Because when you think about like in-person marketing and networking, a lot of the times you have something physical that you can give somebody right there. It's whether it's a business card, a lanyard, a rubber band. I know at conventions, with Geekset, we give them keychains, rubber bands, just something that lets them remember that moment with Geekset. When they see it, they're like, oh yeah, I did meet Geekset, and whatever the case may be, right? So when you think about that, online is a little bit different, because we don't really have anything that we can give people, right? But what you can do is, with the follow up and follow through, is you can ask them, hey, do you have somewhere I can send something to? You know, I remember there was a comedian that I was listening to, and he was telling a story about, you know, this long story about this Uber driver that he talked to. And he said it was just a regular Uber ride, but then when he left, the Uber driver took down his business card. And then he sent them something in the mail. So weeks later, he got whatever the Uber driver sent them in the mail, and it made him remember that moment that he had with that Uber driver, right? So same thing. When you're online, once you start networking with people and you do something with somebody, you know, if they come on your platform, if they do you a solid, one of the greatest things that you can do is follow up and follow through with them by giving them something to remember by, right? And it doesn't have to be anything grandiose. I mean, if you have shirts, if you have merch, send them a shirt. If you have a rubber band, a lanyard, a keychain, send them something that makes them remember that time that they had with you, because then that is going to have them remember it. And then what happens is they end up doing whether a video or post, yo, shout out to, you know, whoever, shout out to your brand for, you know, I did this thing. And then that's where that marketing comes into place, because now you have something extra content that lets your content online live. And then that's when it goes into just kind of creating an event, because you want that person to feel special. No matter what the case, if you're doing business with somebody, make it an event, make it seem amazing. Anytime that I do an interview with anybody, I always do make sure that the promotions is being tagged. I make sure I'm tagging that person. I'm using the best image that I can find of them. You know, I'm talking about, yo, this is the best interview that I did. I can't wait to show y'all this. Yo, I had a great time. This was great. You know, I'm using these big words. One, because it's true. I love every interview and every interaction that I had. But two, I want them to know that I appreciate it a lot. I appreciate them so much, and I want to make sure that they know that this is big for me. And this is big, and I want the people that's viewing it to know. I want them to be like, man, Deuces, yo, he was excited about that interview. Or yo, Geekset, yo, they was geek to be on that platform, because we are. But you, and in hindsight, the person that you did that business with or that you network with, they're gonna be like, yo, I want to work with them again, because they truly appreciate what opportunity I gave them, because it's all opportunity. And then lastly, it's just relationship retention. A lot of times people are doing business with people online, and we do one transaction and then go. And it's like, but why? You know, if you had a good, successful relationship after networking online with somebody, you keep that business relationship. You would do that on offline. You know, when you work with somebody, you exchange it, you keep them in the context. You know, I'll give you guys a tidbit. What we do is anytime, everybody that we've interviewed, I always often offer them and tell them, hey, this email that I'm emailing you from, the one that we've been talking on, keep this on file as far as like your press list or whatever the case may be. So that way, if you are doing something, you send it to us, we'll continue to report on it. Follow us, man. Geekset Podcast. Hit that subscribing button. We're on our road to 1,000, so we're definitely trying to get that. I appreciate you guys that stay here and, you know, watch the whole video. Follow us on all social media networks at Geekset Podcast. And go to geeksetpodcast.com. That is our hub that shows everything. And again, I am your boy Deuces, representing the Geekset Podcast, the only podcast that blend hip-hop culture and geek culture together. And I am out. Peace.